said, unfortunately, I'm unable to tell you a plot. This graveyard is not for people of color. It's a white human being only cemetery.
Denied burial for being black, and Allen Parish family is outraged at how they were treated at a cemetery. Tonight, that cemetery is issuing an apology to the family.
They tried to bury their loved one at Oakland Springs Cemetery near Oberlin. They say an employee told them no, and the reason given left them shocked. Freeze on the Street, Katie Easter has the story from Oberlin. Katie, does this apology go far enough?
For the Simeon family, it's too little too late. They say the cemetery made an already difficult time in their lives even more difficult. And now there's fallout here at the cemetery. Madison and Shayla Simeon were left in shock when they came to the Oakland Springs Cemetery to get a plot for their father, Daryl Simeon.
And she just looked us in our face, like cold, and was like, I can't sell you a plot.
According to Simeon, the woman at the cemetery had this contract in her hand, which reads the right of burial the remains of white human beings.
She had this paperwork in her hand on a clipboard that she said was drawn up 70 plus years ago, and if we really wanted him to be buried there, she'd have to get approval first because he was a colored man.
The Oakland Springs Cemetery Board president is aware of the incident.
I am still very ashamed of it, of what happened. Who wouldn't be?
Craig Vissenaw says the contract was written in the 1950s when the cemetery was first opened. Changes will be made.
Promise you, it will be fixed.
But the Simeons say the damage is done and their father deserved better.
My dad wasn't just any man. He was a phenomenal man. He was a police officer in this same community for 15 years. He protected the same people that denied him a place to lay eternally because of the color of his skin.
The employee who denied the Simeon family burial has been fired, and the cemetery offered a plot to the family, but they say they'll be burying their father elsewhere. In Oberlin, Katie Easter, KTC TV3.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there, and shout out to Versatile Legacy for sending me the story, as well as the video attached to it, in which you just heard the audio. I wish I could say that I am surprised, and I say that a lot because it's true. I wish I could say that I was shocked. I know I say that a lot, but it's true because I'm not shocked. And this happened in Louisiana, so that I'm really not shocked by that. It is, however, speaking, I guess if I was in the family's shoes, I would be pissed because, all you're trying to do is lay your loved one to rest after they have passed on, and only to find out that they can't be buried there because of the color of their skin. And they actually showed the document in the audio, in the video. Y'all heard the audio, but they actually showed the document where it said it right there that cemetery is for the resting place of white beings. It said it right there in black and white on the document. Now, this document had been drawn up in the 50s, which doesn't surprise me. At that time, that would have been approved. That would have been, okay, fine, whatever. But in 2021, it's still there. Now, that cemetery board president, the one that was talking, the one that sounded like he had a hickish accent, you can tell he was just like stumbling over his words and had to think of something off the top of his head because he didn't know what to say. Said it was drawn up in the 50s and everything like that, but they said they're moving to have that changed now. So you didn't think to have that changed way before then. Only now they change it or want to make a change because they got caught. That is why I cannot take PC serious when they get caught in their racist ways. Because when they come back and try to do or try to undo it, it's too late. And you only do it because you got caught. It's not genuine. Why don't you do it before you get the chance to get caught? Oh, I know you do it now because you're afraid you might lose business, but it wouldn't really matter because it sounds to me like they wouldn't even lose any business. So you got to think that cemetery has nothing but PC buried into it. And if you look at the complexion of this guy, he's not a dark-skinned black man. He's very light in tone. And even he was not good enough to be buried in their cemetery. Well, one thing I will say to the family is this: I'm glad that they have not buckled to want to go with the option of burying him there after they gave some piss poor apology and said, we'll bury our father elsewhere. That's one of the best things that they could have done. What is an apology going to do? That can't undo what you've already done. And can you imagine maybe how many other black families have probably wanted to bury someone there but couldn't because of the reputation that the cemetery had? Or maybe they didn't even try because they knew. Maybe this family didn't know. But they saw it right there in the document. It wasn't hearsay. They didn't just say it. It was in the document, something that was drawn up in the 50s that they never changed and probably didn't plan on changing until recently. And who knows if they're actually going to change it now. They probably only said that on TV for the cameras, but now they might have to because they have gotten some kind of news attention and where people are going to keep an eye on them like a hawk. But then again, what black person would want to be buried there? Let them keep that their little cemetery. So what? There's plenty of other places that I'm sure that people who don't look like them or don't identify as them can get buried at. That's where I'm at with it. But let me tell you something. Like I said, they are not far removed from their ancestors. And when I say that, I say this. They hold on to a lot of the, if you want to call it that, the legacies of their ancestors and bring forth them to the current and present day. And they don't let go of it with the intent of passing it down to their offspring and having their offspring pass it down to their offspring and so on and so forth. And the cycle continues over and over and over again. That's what I mean when I said they're not far removed from their ancestors. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please text the number that is pinned down below so you can receive notifications every time I upload a new video.